Welcome, everyone. This is Lisa Shemaine, and this is my launch to Lisa's Healing Tree I Am with series. And today I have the pleasure of having our guest on the show, David Groode, and we're going to add him to the stream right now. Welcome, David.
Thank you. It's so great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so I will be doing this live stream series called I Am, and then will be a guest who will be on the show, and I will be doing it on the solstices and the equinoxes. So it'll be 4 times a year. Hopefully this goes well. I think it will, but I'm really appreciative that you agreed to do this with me. So I just want to introduce you. You are an international psychic, intuitive, life coach, numerologist. You're one of my teachers, and you have many clients who have had the benefit of having sessions with you. I have had too many to count, but you're always spot on, and it's always interesting to see what comes up with a reading with you. And just a little bit of how we met. I met you through Herb Light, 17 years ago, actually. And you got invited to come to my son's 5th birthday party. And I remember Herb telling me, you're like, why are we going to some kid's party that I don't even know? And I remember being in the kitchen, prepping all this food. And my aunt and my cousins were there, and all of a sudden I hear, David Groode. Little did I know, both my aunt and my cousin had sessions with you years prior, so small world for sure. So that's how we met, and I had the opportunity of also doing your numerology training, and have not looked at numbers the same ever since. So I just want to hand it over to you and just have you talk a little bit about what you do and all that good stuff.
So many fun times we've had together, and I can't believe it's been 17 years. That's shocking. There's so many things I could say, and I could talk about how it all started. I could talk about, what the sessions open up for people. Where would you like me to start?
Wherever you want to start. This is just a real casual live stream, it's just kind of fluid. So wherever you want to start.
Okay, I'll start with how it all started and opened. Growing up, I always thought I was connecting with my imaginary playtime, but I really realized later on that I was connecting with beings from other dimensions, but I didn't fully realize it at the time. And when I was 19, I went for my very first reading with a professional psychic who was a cousin of a good friend of mine. And there's no way he would have been mind reading me, because when I went in for the reading, I wasn't even thinking about these things. But what happened was I had 2 really strong spiritual experiences in high school. I had an out-of-body experience, not expecting to, because I was running around the track in a biology class. We were testing our pulse rates, and I got myself into a meditative state, breathing while I was running, and I didn't realize it. And then when I was walking back to class, my soul or spirit floated up above my body, and I was looking at myself and everybody walking back to class and all the cars in the parking lot from a few feet above me. And I was like, whoa, what is this? And I thought, I want to go camping next weekend with my family. I really don't want to deal with this right now. Come back in. And when my soul came back in, it didn't just go straight back in. It went like this. It went kind of motioned from like a pendulum back in. And I had this big adjustment afterwards for like a couple hours. Like I had a headache and a stomach ache, but I could never be the same because that was one of my first conscious experiences, like, wow, there's so much more than what we see and imagine and are told and experience. And the other experience happened in high school unexpectedly. I was in a driver's training class, and they were showing a film, and I was leaning back in my chair, tilting it back, which I really shouldn't have been. And when they went to go change to jump start the car in the film, and they connected the cables underneath the hood, I relived myself dying from another lifetime, but it wasn't me now. It was me as someone else, checking something underneath the hood of the car and it exploding and me dying.
Wow.
It was so full on that my chair almost fell to the ground when I was tilting it back. I had to like catch my balance. And because it was almost like reliving that whole memory and that whole experience. So backing up, when I go to this first psychic I went to when I was 19 years old, one of the first things he said in the reading, because I never told anybody about this, was, you had a past life in Germany. He said, you went to go check something underneath the hood of the car and it exploded and you died. So you have to be careful watching violent movies because they can trigger those kinds of memories for you. I was like, wow. So that was kind of how the reading started. And it just peeled all denial away. And then in the middle of the reading, he said, oh yeah, when you're in your mid-20s, you're going to be doing readings and work similar to what I'm doing. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. That didn't really match my career pictures for myself. And so what happened was, even though I had a really profound reading from him, there was no denying that, but I kind of dismissed that little piece of information. And I left there processing it all. And when I was shortly after that, I met my first teacher, and I wanted to learn more about shamanism and healing. And she knew that I had this gift of being able to see before I knew about it. So she used to fly to LA from Oregon. I'd pick her up at the airport. I would drive her 2 or 3 hours to wherever she was going to be teaching workshops or classes. And she would have me go up in the car while I was driving and connect with the guides, the spirit guides. And I'd have to tell her who was there, what they were saying, answer her questions, and not look at her. I only could look at the road in front of me and the rear view mirror behind me. And what
were you driving?
Totally I was driving. Are you kidding? Yes. So the thing is, I really don't recommend that way of learning. No. But the good news about it for me was it really taught me how to be in two places or realms at once. And so it really prepared me to do the readings and the work similar to what I would be doing now. And although I thought I was going to learn healing and shamanism, which I learned a fair bit about, it really was to open me up for later. And the thing is, I was very shy back then, believe it or not. I know you'd never imagine that based on my way of being and nonstop talking right now. However, back then, super shy, painfully shy. And I wouldn't know, let me back up. So I had this virus in my liver when I was around 25 years old. It was very painful. I had enough energy to go to work and come home, and I'd go for acupuncture and get herbs to control the pain. And it showed up on, it was a non-specific virus in my liver. I don't even drink. It showed up on 2 liver panels and blood panels. And I knew I needed to go see this shaman that I met a year before at a medicine wheel gathering for a healing. And after a month of calling, I drove up to Northern California, saw him. We met at a parking lot at a donut shop, and he did a healing on me where there were all these redwood trees. And that was on a Friday. And he said, we'll know by Wednesday if this works. But tonight, I'll dream about you to see how I can help you, because this is going to get worse before it gets better. So that night wasn't a big deal, but the following 2 days, I was in agony. It was so bad, I was curled up on the floor for 2 days. And it was so bad, I went back in for a 3rd liver panel and blood panel that Monday. And when I went in for the results on the Wednesday, boom, everything was clear. And I thought, wow, that's pretty good. So shortly after that, I had this inner voice saying, you're being opened up, do readings. And I was like, forget it, I'm not doing readings. And so what would happen was all this pain would come through my liver area. And then when I would resist it, I'd have pain. And when I would open to it, I'd get all these downloads and information about people and things I wouldn't have a clue about. So, I thought, wow, is this like a choice or what? So I think I'm just going to go with it a little bit, because I don't really like having pain. I'm a baby when it comes to pain. So I just decided to open it. But I thought, I really wouldn't know what to tell people if they came in for readings unless they had questions. And what was happening at that time was 3 different groups of friends who all didn't know each other all referred me to this same exact woman who did numerology readings. And I was like, forget it. I'm not getting any readings right now. And I was super stubborn. And I went out one Friday night with one of those groups of friends, and boom, she was there. I couldn't avoid her.
It was meant to happen.
Oh, totally. And I talked with her, and I really liked her. And so I went for a numerology reading with her, and it was life-changing.
Wow.
We became friends. I learned the numerology from her as a social icebreaker because I was so shy back then. But then when I saw what it could do, I was like, wow, the numbers don't lie. This is amazing. And it's really been like a life study. It's really kind of a joke too, because math is my absolute worst subject and still is to this day. My math is beyond shocking. So it's kind of
with numerology, you just need to know how to add.
Yeah, well, I still use my fingers and a calculator sometimes.
That's
and
good.
I have math checks built into it.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So that was how all of that occurred. Now I get to go to the next part of it. So I came into it very young. And I went on the radio at first, and I got a lot of clients from it up in the Bay Area. And people would come and knock on my door, and I'd answer, and they'd be like, wow, can I just ask you how old you are? Because they just couldn't believe that I came into it so young. And so it was like I had to manage that, the responsibility of coming into it so young. And it was pretty full on. And the other thing that happened was it took me 17 years into it to get clear about how the gifts, the psychic gifts, worked through me. And once I was able to define that, it was like being able to define your ex-woman or ex-men gifts. And it just like blew open everything, because after I was able to define how the gifts work through me, it was learning how to manage it. So it wasn't managing me, which took several more years. And now that I've been doing it for like over 30 years, the gifts are shifting and changing, or expanding, let's say, and refining and focusing in a different kind of a way. And I'm having to discover and understand and work with what that looks like. And that's been pretty amazing, an amazing process too. So, I thank God for giving me the gift. And I just want to make the world better and support people as a result of being able to have the honor and privilege of working with people. Did that answer everything you wanted me to talk about?
Yeah. I mean, I also think, answering the question of what does I am mean to you, and how did you really step into, becoming a psychic and doing this as a career as well. We had a little brief conversation before we did the live stream, and that, it's constantly evolving, I think, for all of us.
Absolutely. And more people's gifts are opening and revealing and awakening, especially as more of our DNA gets put back together through the whole ascension process that's occurring. And right. The other thing is, one little piece I want to add here is, so people might ask, well, how do the gifts work through you? So let me start with how they don't work through me. I don't do crimes, okay? Not my gift. Some people are animal communicators. Okay, maybe a little bit sometimes.
Meaning you can pick up on that a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit sometimes. Although I'm really good with snakes. And then, sometimes people do medical, and I could do some of that. Okay. And some people are mediums, and I really wouldn't consider myself as a medium, but sometimes information comes through. Okay. So it was kind of a process of elimination. But what ended up happening was several areas. For some reason, I can look at people, I can see where they're at and where they could be if they're out of the way, and what they need to do to clear it to get there. So if they are willing to work with the information that comes through, and they follow through with some suggestions or what comes through, they can go to a whole new level of their lives and within themselves. And because usually so much more is available for people than people realize, if they were out of their way, if they knew what they needed to clear, if they knew what they needed to add or put in to shift their whole lives, their way of being, their thinking, or their trajectory. And the other thing is, I was able to identify which places in the world people would benefit from living in or spending time in. What careers would be best? What things they could study in school that would be best? What some of their gifts are. Those were how it started to work through me. And then I got a surprise. It surprised me, let me tell you. I could look at photos of people, and I started doing profiling work, like, why would someone not want to date this person? Or why would they? Or what could they expect out of this relationship of working together? What do they need to look out for? So I helped people with new hires for companies, helping people select which plastic surgeon they should work with, a whole bunch of different things, and how to have more harmonious relationships with their primary relationship, and also with members of their family, if possible. And so all this profiling work came through, and I was just like, wow. So that was a whole other level and a surprise. I'm often the last one to find out about it. Like, I can do this for other people, but I'm so lucky if I'm able to do any of it for myself. Maybe if I'm traveling somewhere, out of my normal environment or something, maybe. But yeah, for other people, it works really well.
When I have a question for you, when can you recall back to when you first, I mean, probably looking back, it's more clear, but when you realized that you had these gifts? I know you were talking about in your teens, but did you pick up on any of this when you were a little kid?
Yeah, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, the same for me. I would hear, see, feel, smell, sometimes taste things as a little kid, and it wasn't until I'm with my friends, my kid friends, and I'm like, oh, you see that person over there, not realizing it was a person in spirit, and then became the odd kid that saw dead people. So but again, throughout my lifetime so far, always kind of pushed it down. It's not something that you share readily with others. And it wasn't until just a few years ago, couple years ago, that I really decided to step into this, my I amness, through color mirrors.
It's a brilliant way of saying it. And, it's funny because I did this inner journey where I went back to experience, being in my mother's womb, before birth, and then the birth and all that. And while I was in that experience of that inner journey and I was in the womb, I was through the journey that I had experienced, I was connected with a galactic womb at the same time being in my mother's womb. And all these galactic beings came to visit and check up on me in the womb, not the room, the womb. And that was an amazing experience. Having all of these beings from different worlds come in and check how I was going and how my mother was going. And that was really good. And then, and the experience and the realization of that. And then when I was being born, I came a month early. And I was on my way to be born, and I felt myself coming through to go to Mexico City. And at the very last minute, boom, I got diverted to Los Angeles. I thought, wow, my Spanish would have been so much better if I was born in Mexico City. I've been working on my Spanish for so long, but I ended up in LA for a reason. So I do believe we choose our parents.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have a lot of soul agreements before coming in. And I go into a lot of those sometimes when they come up in the readings. I don't really focus on past life stuff too much, like some readers might, but only if it's really in the way of something now. But I do go into soul agreements if it, a little more. And, it's just, I would describe it like this. Some people have a view from the 11th floor and other people have a view from the 2nd floor. It's just a different view.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I want to just share a little experience that I've had with you in one of your readings. I would do my little checkups with you, because had some issues going on and needed to kind of check in on them. And I remember this was November of 2019. remember it very clearly. And my room, which is my home office room, very different than now than what it looked like back then. But I had these rainbow colored prayer flags. And I just remember, just physically your body go, whoa, I see color coming into your life. And you go, I don't know what that means. And it's like you said, it's not only the colors and the flags, but it's like every color you can possibly think of. And then you said, well, I don't know if you're getting a new wardrobe. And I said, well, not planning on it. So, whenever I've had readings with you, if something didn't make sense, I just kind of put it to the side. It was there. And then fast forward a couple months later, COVID hit. And, I think we all were like, WTF, what's going on in the world? And kind of just trying to get our equilibrium. And Herb Light, your former partner and my dear soul brother from another mother, is what I call him, was telling me about Sharon Ann McNeil's post. And he, was saying, you got to see her post on Facebook. And so I'm looking and I'm like, okay, well, I need to friend request her because I can't find it. So I friend request her. It's not there. I'm like, where the heck, I'm like a dog on a bone trying to find this post because I can't let it go, right? And so I came across it in this group that she was in. And that's how I met my teacher, Moira Bush, who is my teacher of color mirrors. And that's how I found out about color mirrors. Didn't quite click yet about, your prediction of colors. And I thought, well, this is interesting. And then I thought, wow, to be a color practitioner, you have to either go to South Africa, where Melissa Jolly, the founder of the system, is, and where the bottles are made. And, she teaches the course there, or I could go and see Moira in Ontario, Canada. And no one's flying anywhere. So like, okay, well, that's not going to happen. And so I'm like, okay. And then also financially, like, how can I make this happen? And just kind of, again, put it to the side. And I friend requested Moira on Facebook, and she was offering this. She was in the middle of doing this developmental, spiritual development with color course. So, she was offering also little mini readings. And so I signed up and I just said, hey, are you going to offer this course again? And she says, no. And then, of course, I'm like, well, what about the practitioner course? Oh, we don't do that. I've never done it online. It's in person. And I'm like, well, no one can go anywhere. And then, so, I'm like, why not? And then I think it was a couple months later, she was offering it online via Zoom. And instead of it being a week-long in person, it was over 6 months. And I felt like that probably was the best way for me to do it, because I got to sit with all the colors and the system. And there was, I believe, 19 of us on that course. And all of us were women. And their men have taken the course too, but got to know people from all over the world, and so I ended up doing the practitioner course. And then I asked her about the mentor program. Well, we haven't done that online. And I go, Moira, you did the practitioner online. Why won't you do this? And so then I did that with her. And then the next level is the teachers. And so I said, well, what about the teachers? And again, well, we've never done that before. And, I'm like, well, why not? So I ended up doing that with her and finished that the end of last summer. But back to the practitioner course. So I started that in September 2020 and finished it in March 2021. And I decided for the whole month of April, I was really going to sit with my I amness, because I'm in the process of finishing up my degree at Berkeley. And after that, my plan was to go to grad school and go to law school. And I presented myself with the question, okay, am I going to go that route, or am I really going to step into my I amness, my psychic abilities, and really open up my healing practice? So for 30 days, I didn't think about school. I didn't think about color mirrors, as a business or anything like that. And after those 30 days, I decided no to law school. I mean, two completely different trajectories. And that's okay. I'm okay with not, going that way because I feel like my soul wants me to do what I'm doing now. And I opened up and started Lisa's Healing Tree that year. And have been seeing clients since. And it just, and as my practice and training, has grown, and working with clients, so have my abilities. And I loved every minute of it. I got to experience every color in the color mirror system, and really did my own self healing with it. But I just look back on that, whoa! I see color coming in your life. Before I even knew. So, and this September, I'm going to be going to South Africa to do the final training to teach the teachers. So I'm really looking forward to that.
You're so lucky. That's one of my
Oh,
most favorite countries.
I'm manifesting it. It's happening. I have so many people in my life that are supporting me on this journey. And yeah, so that's kind of how color mirrors came in. And we're going to kind of transition a little bit into the next part of this conversation. So, the color mirror system, it is a system of dual color bottles and essences that, again, was founded in 2001 by Melissa Jolly. And they take into consideration color psychology, numerology, um, astrology, sacred geometry, I mean, all of it. And the top fractions of the bottles, which you'll be seeing some of them in just a bit, tap into our conscious mind. And then the lower fraction is our subconscious and these are messages that go with these bottles that your higher self wants you to be aware of, and that you bathe in them. And then the essences are kind of quick spray on the go messages as well. And it was a game changer for me. I've never experienced any other system like it. It's great with other modalities. People who do Reiki use it with their practice, massage, psychic readings, you name it. I love that it works so well. And the messages that they have, I always look at it that our soul really wants us to pay attention to certain things, and these hit those messages spot on. So this next part of our presentation this is where I ask people to pick one of these bottles. They don't have any colors on them because they're going to be revealed later. So David, you get to pick one as well. So either you're going to pick bottle number 1, bottle number 2, or bottle number 3, and we'll reveal what its message is. And these messages will apply to how you can come into your own I amness, especially on the summer solstice, how to tap into what your higher self, your soul wants for you, and how to tap into that. So which number are you picking, David?
I would like to pick number 1, please.
Okay, and I'm going to pick number 3. So now, and we talked about what does I am mean to you, but this is where we get to share with others little mini readings. So if anybody's on this live stream and they would like a little mini reading from David, he does numerology. And so if you could just post in the comments, if you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, please spell out the month because, apparently us in the US, we do it backwards. We always do the month first, whereas other countries do the day. So if you can spell out the month you were born and then give us the day and the year, David's happy to give you a little mini numerology reading. And I'm happy to chime in if I'm picking up anything intuitively as well. And so I just want to remove the slides here. So bear with me. I'm still learning how to do this. So it's just you and I. So far, no one's commented yet, and that's okay. So I will ask you to give me a little numerology reading. And so my month is March, born on the 9th, 1970.
Okay, so you are in a great new cycle, and this goes all the way until your birthday of 2024 and 10-1, which is the sun card in the tarot. Very exciting because the sun brings life and energy and light to everything. And it's a really good year for moving forward. It's all green lights. It's good for travel. It's good for health. It's good for lifestyle improvements, moving, good for romance, relationship, family, animals, finance. It's just great for all areas. There's still completions occurring because the 9 is within the 19, and the 9 brings completions, and the 1 brings new beginnings, new opportunities, new possibilities, new experiences, new thinking, new people, new environments. And the 19 adds up to 10, which is the wheel of fortune. And the wheel is always turning and spinning, and we have no control over where it lands. And wherever it lands, that's your opportunity. You get to create magic. But you have to know what your magic is to be able to create magic with it.
Perfect. Love it.
It is really a good year for you.
Well, you know personally what goes on in my life, but I'm wrapping up UC Berkeley, going to be graduating May of next year. So this has been a long, long, long journey. Just trying to see if...
like I was on the 20-year plan for my bachelor's. So believe me, I get it.
Well, mine's been a little long, and that's a story for another time. But yeah, it makes sense. I mean, all of it makes sense. So thank you. Do you have any questions for me, or would you like a color bottle reading?
Sure, that would be fun.
Okay, do you want to look at the bottle, or do you want to pick a number between 1 and 87? So I have the bottle behind me.
64.
Okay, 64. I'll have to see what bottle that is. So in the color mirror system, there's bottles 1 through 87. 1 through 36 are the wisdom bottles, and then we have 2 sets of chakra bottles. They're traditional, and then the higher vibrational, and then we go through G1 through 36, which are the Gaia bottles, the higher vibrational ones. So you said what number now?
64.
64, so that's G13. Let me see where G13 is. Well, I think this is interesting.
It's always a surprise. I'm still surprised by what comes through readings.
It's the Grace bottle.
Awesome.
And it's the Golden Gaia set. So I'm just going to show you right here. This is it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's similar to the colors of the Generosity one, which I based my Lisa's Healing Tree colors on. So you've got the Grace bottle, and it says it's pale gold over pale pink, and it's about rebirthing your true self. It's also the female face of divinity, pure love. I think, also what's going on collectively for humanity and also Gaia, Mother Earth, is, the ascension process, going from 3rd dimensional to 5th dimensional. And recently I was in the Platinum workshop with color mirrors, and it was a very light, the energy was very light, not heavy, but we all kind of felt just things being released that were holding us back, that were didn't serve any purpose for us anymore. So this bottle kind of makes sense for you as well. Just trying to see if information's coming through. And, we talked about, I am always being in the process of, learning new stuff about ourselves, our I amness. It's always a work in progress. So that's where I think the rebirthing your true self, it's that elevation of vibration, and then we get to recalibrate into the higher vibration that we're stepping into. Is any of that making any sense for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
And
magical.
you're having a lot of divine feminine. I mean, when you picked other bottles, it had that divine feminine energy to it as well. The system looks at both masculine and feminine energy. So, yeah. Well, so far, no one's popped in with any questions. So, we'll stick around for a little bit, but we're going to end this at 1 o'clock, which is in about 19 minutes.
Okay.
So do you have any other questions? Do you want to ask me or anything else that you want to share?
Well, I've learned so much through being able to work with people. Things I would have never even imagined about how people think, how the world works, where people hold back. And I've really been buzzing a lot on trajectory because the sessions provide a clarity and the work provides a clarity to really support people to get clear about their trajectory and change up their game and change it and scale up on their trajectory in different areas that they choose. Because something is usually so much bigger that's wanting to come through than the way we are always imagining it or holding it. It's like it's so infinite. We don't fully contain it all consciously, that there's so much processing and moving through all of us. Many of us are consciously processing collective pieces for the collective, or collective unconscious pieces, or shadow pieces, which can be so uncomfortable, but so liberating once you are able to identify them correctly and release them. And that's really life-changing because it frees people up. And through the readings and through the work, it opens the way for people to reconnect on a soul level with themselves and be more authentically aligned and connected to what that is and what they're here for and what really matters and what's important and what's not, what's like a complete distraction. We could talk more about the ascension, but there's a lot to say about that too.
When did you start feeling it shifting for you?
On the ascension level?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like I didn't feel it before, but I would say 220 was very pivotal in defining with it.
Yeah.
That was when I really was like, wow, something so much bigger is happening. And what I really want to say about this, everybody, is that our universe is being repositioned. Okay? And we are going to become part of a much bigger universe. And that's going to change everything. It's already happening. Do you want to say?
I agree. No, I agree. I felt a shift for a while. I know, when just referring it back to COVID, because that's, everybody on the planet was feeling a shift then, whether they wanted to recognize it or not.
And more disclosures are happening,
Yeah.
Like, we're not the only ones in the neighborhood. There are others. We share our world with others. We just don't know it, but we will know it.
Yeah. Well, that'll
You
be
know, it's like,
interesting.
and all these people that think that they're keeping it all a secret, come on, really? Wake up. And, you know, and everybody really has an opportunity to realign with themselves and nature and the bigger picture and truly what's in their hearts and what they're here for. And so it's a real opportunity, the whole ascension, for people to let go, feel safe in their hearts, trust, and let go and allow that bigger that wants to come through to come through.
Hold on one second. So apparently, I guess people are trying to comment, but we can't see them. So I'm just going to make a little all right. That's interesting. I don't know why it's not coming through. But we have Lisa and Herb in Morelia, Mexico, wanting to make some comments. So I'm just going to wait and see what she says here, and then I will comment for her.
Hi, Herb. Hi, Lisa.
Yeah. Hola. My Spanish is not very good. I can get by with the very basic.
I have the biggest gringo accent when I speak Spanish, and I can't even roll my R's, but I have so much fun when I get to do it.
Awesome. All right. Well, okay. So Lisa would love a mini reading, and she's still typing, so I just got to wait for it to come through. So we'll figure out if she wants a numerology reading from you. Okay. So what year? She gave the month and the day, but I need her to give us what year. So she's December 27th, 1968. All right, here you go, Lisa. David's going to give you a little mini reading.
Okay. So the way I figure out your year that you're in is based on when your last birthday occurred. And your last birthday occurred in 2022.
Oh, hold on a second. She doesn't want us to read it out loud.
Okay.
Well, then I don't know how she's going to get it.
Contact me privately.
Yeah. So, Lisa, you can keep getting dings on here, but I'm not seeing any of the things coming through.
My phone's not on. I can't look because it interferes.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll connect her with you
Via text.
Yeah, but I keep hearing oh, she says birth date on social media. Oh, she says the reading's fine now. Sorry, Lisa, I didn't get to read your comment too quickly. Okay, so go ahead and give her reading.
Okay, so I figure it out based on the year that your last birthday occurred. And so basically 2022 adds up to 6. The year 2022 adds up to 6. And then I add that with your month and day of birth. Okay. And I get 45. So you're in a 45-9 year, which is a year of completions until your birthday this December. And out of all the 9 years, it's not a bad 9 year because your 4 wants structure and stability, and 5 wants freedom and change. So you are the integration and the marriage of the two. You got to give some energy every day to structure and stability and give some energy to freedom and change. 5's also integration. So it's an amazing year for community, for education, for completing things. And you got to ask yourself, what do I want to bring forward with me into my next 9-year cycle that starts on my birthday of on my next birthday. Because anything you don't complete before your birthday coming up at the end of the year, you bring forward with you into your next 9-year cycle. And so you got to ask yourself, wow, do I really want to bring it forward with me, or would I like to get complete with it before then? So that's important. Did you have a question?
Okay, so Lisa, do you have a question? And you can type it.
Oh, one more thing. After your next birthday, Lisa, in that year, you're either going to have a major move or you're going to redesign where you're living.
She says, nope, that was great.
Okay, thank you.
And then Herb had a question but didn't know where to type it. So I don't know. She said, awesome. So I don't know if Herb's listening. Lisa, I don't know if you're with him. Or Herb, you can text me on WhatsApp and ask your question. And I don't know if you want David to give you a reading.
It's great that people in Mexico are here. Buenas tardes, Mexico.
Okay, it says he's on. So, so Herb, text me on WhatsApp. And even though for some, okay, he's typing. And just tell me who you want the reading from, David or me. No, not a question, a mini reading. All right, why don't you give...
All right, I know Herb's birthday. So let me just see here.
Groode, he wants it from you.
All right. So Herb's in a really good cycle. He's in the same year you're in, Lisa. Imagine that.
Well, so, and I will also say that the way that you taught me is to go from one's birthday to their birthday.
It's the way that I do it, but everybody's way works in the way.
And then I also did numerology with my teacher, Moira, and she goes January to December. So whenever I do readings for people, I kind of incorporate both, because I used to think it would change right on the birthday. And sometimes you feel it a little bit before, sometimes on, sometimes a little bit after. So it kind of helps to know. But the way that you specifically do it, you do it from one's birthday to their birthday the next year.
Mm-hmm. So Herb's in a really good cycle, good for improving all areas, good for moving forward, all green lights, good for travel, which I would love to see you find some ways to travel, and good for improving health, good for lifestyle changes, moves, home improvements, romance, good for friendships, good for finances, good for everything. You just have to focus on whatever area you want to improve, and put some actions and energy into it and follow through, and then boom, it'll improve for you this year. So congratulations.
He's always on an adventure. You want your life interesting, invite Herbie Light along.
Totally. It's never boring.
Well, we're getting close to 1 o'clock, and I didn't see anyone else comment on here. So I want us to go back into the bottle selections and share that and kind of just wrap it up. And let's just go. Sorry, I'm like having to look at my phone over here, and he's saying that no one can make comments. So I guess I'm going to have to figure that out for next time. Sorry, everyone. Can always.
And we do have special offerings too, but I don't know when you're.
Yeah, well, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, so here, if you chose bottle 1, 2, or 3, here are your bottle reveals. So if you chose bottle number 1, I was called to randomly select, computer generated, and there's never any mistakes, the 2 different chakra sets, the traditional and the higher vibrational. And I was not surprised that the 3 bottles came from the higher vibrational chakra set. So the first one is bottle C14, oh, sorry, I'm stuck here. So this is the bottle. And bottle C14 is the higher crown chakra in the higher vibrational system. And it is called Vision. It's gold over clear. And so just to remind people, this is how you step into your I amness. So this is the message of how you as an individual or your soul is wanting you to really connect with your I amness. And so this vision bottle is about clearing any fears of psychic ability, because we all have the ability to tap into our senses psychically. And it's also about inner knowing and holding a vision for the golden age. So this was your bottle, correct, David?
Yes, it was.
Does that feel like that's spot on for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then we've got bottle number 2, which is the C9 bottle, and this is the root base chakra of the higher vibrational system, and it is clear over clear, and it's the light body. It's about being open to making big decisions, clearing any survival issues one may have, and also just being open to stepping into the light. So if that was your bottle that you chose, and I think Herbie just responded, he wanted bottle number 2. And of course, he has to choose the bottle that has his name in it, the light body. And then if you chose bottle number 3, this is the heart chakra, the higher vibrational heart chakra, the new heart chakra bottle. And he says, yes, I am the light. Of course you are. And then this bottle is the love bottle. It's just called Love, and it's lilac over pink. It's remembering that we are all one. We're not separate. We're all connected collectively. And it's about just pure, unconditional love, the spiritual heart. This bottle also can relate to those who've lost their mother. So it's got that mothering energy as well. And that happens to be the bottle that I chose. Just really tapping into your heart chakra, speaking from the heart. So those are our 3 bottle choices. And just wishing everyone a happy solstice, summer solstice. And David and I are offering specials. Let me just see, is it not showing here? There we go. So just for the summer solstice, okay, Herb's asking about bottle C9. So yes, bottle C9 is clear over clear. It's called the light body. It's about making and being open to big decisions, clearing survival issues, and stepping into the light. So I hope you heard that. So back to David and I are offering our own summer solstice specials. And David, do you want to state what yours is?
My special offering, everybody, is buy one full session by midnight this Friday, June 23rd, 2023, and get a free session of equal or lesser value for someone else that must be used within 30 days from the date of purchase. So the reason I have the 30 days is so people don't sit on it and wait forever for their sessions, that they're in an action breakthrough.
And that's midnight Pacific Daylight Time here in sunny California.
Correct.
This side of the world. And then I'm also offering a summer solstice special. Buy one reading and get one free of equal or lesser value. And mine runs until midnight as well this Friday. And they can be used or redeemed at any point. I don't have the 30-day limit, and that's okay. We do things a little bit differently. And you can use it for, the free one for yourself, gift to yourself or to someone else. And you can go to, first of all, I just want to thank everyone for coming. David, thank you so much for being here. And this is how you can get in touch with us. Here is our contact info. You can give us a phone call. You can email us. You can go to our website. On my website, lisashealingtree.com, you just go under readings and you can see the different types of readings that I have. And it will take you to my calendar, and then that's how you can purchase it. If you have any difficulty with that, you can pop me an email and tell me what kind of reading you want. So my most expensive reading is a chakra balancing, and that usually can be 2 to 3 hours, and it's an in-depth. It can be done remotely or in person. And then I have other readings that I do, color readings, star readings. Those are of cost a little bit less because they're only an hour long. So that's the difference. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, David. And what type of readings do you offer in sessions?
People could get an intuitive reading where they can ask a lot of questions about everything that they want to ask about, or they could get a numerology reading, which is like a life reading, and it's like a map of their life, and it shows people how to work with the different cycles that are occurring and how to maximize that. And later after that, if people want to do ongoing work, they can do coaching with me, or a follow-up reading at some point when they feel the timing is right for them.
And Herb asks, where do we find out how much? Again, go to my website, lisashealingtree.com, and go under my readings, and it'll show you the various readings that I offer.
And I would say same for my
website. It tells you how much they are there. So chakra balancings are $155 US. Shadow readings, color readings are 111. I think my star reading is 88. But again, you can go to my website, lisashealingtree.com, and go under the readings tab, because some people don't know what type of readings I offer, and it gives a detail of what it is and what's to be expected. So I hope that answers the question, Herb.
I wanted to say one other thing. I record all readings on MP3, and I work with people on Zoom, and then I email the MP3 recording to be able to download after the sessions.
Awesome.
And I love your sessions, Lisa. If anybody's lucky enough to get to book with you, they're going to be thanking their lucky stars.
And I will say the same about you. You have been 99.999% spot on with all the things that I've asked you, in our sessions, and things that I wasn't even aware of were coming. So I think it's always a special gift and a treat that one can give themselves to have a session with you. And I as well record the readings and upload them to Google Drive so that people can then download them, and then I delete them because I don't save anything after 7 days. Well, thank you. Happy summer solstice, everyone. And thank you again, David, for the launch of my I Am With series. And much love to you and gratitude.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love, big love. And thank you, everyone, so much. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.